Hey everybody, this is Jared here. Some of you might have seen Steven Spielberg's AI, Artificial Intelligence. To be frank, the movie was quite a disappointment. Not only did the movie receive mixed reviews, but it also flopped at the box office. Critics and audience alike criticized the drawn-out plot and the very confusing ending. So here's something I learned today. Stanley Kubrick, the director of such famous movies as A Clockwork Orange, Lolita, The Shining, and of course 2001: A Space Odyssey, wanted to direct AI in 1994, but he abandoned the project because he thought that computer technology wasn't on par. So the movie went through development hell for many years and was rewritten, and eventually it landed in the hands of Steven Spielberg. And the most important thing, which I'm going to cover today, is the ending was changed. So the movie AI ultimately tackles the question of what it means to be human. You see, the story centers around the robot kid named David, who's used by a human couple as a substitute for their comatose kid. The humans don't see David as a real boy because he's a robot, and they can't love him like their own child. So David's eventually abandoned by his owners when their comatose kid wakes up from the hospital. So David spends the rest of the movie trying to find the legendary blue fairy who could make him a real kid. Towards the end, David freezes under the ice after finding an amusement park statue of the blue fairy underwater. Now we cut to thousands of years later, humanity is gone, and the only thing left on Earth are the super intelligent robots that humans created. The robots, without their human creators, are trying to find meaning in their own existence. So they try to clone their human creators to potentially find some answers. But for some reason, the humans all die when they go to sleep. So after David's unearthed, the robots realize they can learn a lot from him because David's actually once lived among the humans before the humans went extinct. So this is the ending. David has a locket of hair from his mother, and the robots clone his mother based on the DNA and from the memory that David has of her. So David spends the next evening with his mother, and when they both go to sleep, they both don't wake up again, even though David's a robot. Him and his mother both don't wake up. So this ending was quite confusing, because first of all, most people didn't understand that these things were robots. Some thought they were aliens. But another thing was the ambiguity. Was this supposed to be a positive or negative ending? Was the ending supposed to show that love is what it means to be human, or was it something else? Was it because after David finally feels love from his parent, that he's afforded a soul that the other machines don't have? Or it could also just be interpreted as the robots mercifully putting David out of his misery and manufacturing this whole experience for the poor kid. Whatever the meaning that the director intended, no one got it. So let's compare this to Kubrick's ending. This is from the Stanley Kubrick Archives. After an idyllic day, Monica finally falls asleep, telling David the words he has been waiting 2 millennia to hear. "I do love you, my sweet boy. I have always loved you." Holding her in his arms as she sleeps, David hopes for a miracle. The next morning, his wish comes true. Monica wakes up. The robots search for an answer to why. For the first time, a resurrectee has survived more than one day. Was it the love of a robot child? No other resurrectee had ever before had someone who loved them to hold on to them. In one version, love causes people to keep living, Kubrick's version. In the other version, love causes them to finally rest in peace. So you're entitled to your own opinions, of course, but in my opinion, I think Kubrick's version is much better. The whole movie, whether Kubrick's or Spielberg's, is quite gritty. Kubrick's ending hits at the emotions. After reading it, you feel alive and glad to be human again. I think that's the main difference. Whereas Spielberg's version, you watch it, you're like, oh, gritty, 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 ending gritty. Kubrick's version, gritty, 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 ending. Oh my God. Never thought about it like that. What's love? What does it mean to have a soul? What's it mean to be human? That's just my comparison. I think if Kubrick were alive for 20 more years and got to direct AI and use that version that he planned, AI would have been a much better movie and it wouldn't have flopped and critics wouldn't have destroyed it. That's my opinion. Thank you guys all for listening. Talk to you guys tomorrow.